Jason Kelce's shocked reaction when Travis Kelce reveals his conversation with Scott on podcast. Travis Kelce, who just helped the Chiefs win against the Houston Texans, has released a new podcast episode with his brother Jason Kelce. An excerpt of the Kelce brothers' conversation that fans are most interested in is as follows. Jason Kelce said, "Congratulations on your first win of 2025. This is definitely a great start to the next Super Bowl championship." Travis laughed and said, "Oh, that's great. That win is very important. You know, it's a very tough round, and it's also a good start for us." Then Jason said, "You know, the appearance of our family and the Taylor family in the stands at Arrowhead Stadium made the atmosphere at the game even more exciting." Travis laughed and said, "Yeah, their appearance was great," Jason said. "Hey Travis, after the game you had a party to celebrate the Chiefs' victory," Travis laughed and said. "Oh, of course, it was one of the fun moments for everyone in that room," Jason laughed and said. "That was great. Maybe I missed the important occasion when I was busy with the commentary work for ESPN," Travis said. "Oh really, we talked together and everyone had a drink to celebrate the Chiefs' victory," Jason said. "Oh really, like you were very serious when you were with Scott, right?" Travis with a serious face and said, "Oh yeah, you know, Scott and I had a long talk." Jason said, "Hey Travis, how did you feel when you talked to Taylor's dad? I guess Scott had something important to mention to you, right? Because I saw everyone was very serious," Travis said. "Actually, Scott asked me something that made me very confused and unable to find a consensus. Scott, he mentioned my wedding with Taylor. I was really surprised, but he made me feel very safe, and that special care was deeply imprinted in my mind. That feeling I will never forget." Jason, with a shocked face, raised his hands high and shouted, "OMG, I think that is a very big thing. You really took that special care of me, my friend," Travis added. "Scott, he made me realize many things, and I know I have to learn and remember that. He is a respectable person," Jason said. "So do you have any plans for your wedding?" Travis said, "Actually, I was a little confused at that time. But Scott told me that he wanted to hold a wedding in Nashville." Scott added that Nashville had a lot of meaning to his family, especially when Taylor stood next to me. She also nodded after hearing Scott's father said. Jason was surprised again and said, "Oh my God, that's true. Then what did you say, Travis?" Travis said, "I have my own plan, and of course I will agree. Taylor, she is also very happy with my decision." Jason shouted, "Wow, you are really a real man. I like you in that. Taylor, she is a happy woman because you are always willing to do everything for her." Travis laughed and said, "Come on man, are you flattering me?" Jason said. "You know, Travis, I always appreciate a man who is always willing to do everything for his girlfriend. And of course that always makes everyone support," Travis said. "Oh yeah, I'll take your word for it." But the old guys danced and celebrated. Then both Kelce brothers laughed happily. Jason said, "At the game the fans were quite amused by the Taylor and Caitlyn moments," Travis said. "Yeah, they look like best friends. In last week's podcast when Caitlyn joined our conversation, she was quite funny and talked very friendly. I guess she and Taylor were friends," Jason said. "I think so too." A viewer also left a comment saying, "Hey, come here and see, Taylor and Caitlyn look like sisters." Travis and Jason laughed happily, making the atmosphere more lively. Travis laughed and said, "Come on man, it was an important game. Great, that day we completed the mission." Whenever pop star Taylor Swift shows up to support boyfriend Travis Kelce in his Kansas City Chiefs, it's usually a good omen. The Chiefs are 18-3 when Swift attends their games, including 8-0 this season. Swift also appears to be the team's good luck charm in the playoffs. With her in attendance, they knocked off the Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, AFC Championship game, and San Francisco 49ers, Super Bowl, last postseason, and they held off the Houston Texans 23-14 in Saturday's divisional round matchup, which put Kansas City in the AFC Championship game for the 7th straight season. Swift went viral on social media a few times during the game, once for her whole family showing up clad in Chiefs gear, and a few other times after Kelce made a big first down catch and when she celebrated his fourth quarter touchdown. fans got a small glimpse of what the couple did after the game ended as photos of the two made their way onto social media, and now thanks to a new report from the Daily Mail, fans now know how Kelce and Swift celebrated the big win. Insiders claim that Swift and Kelce managed to have a few hours alone together while her private jet took her parents, Scott and Andrea, back home to Nashville. She seemed on top of the world as she celebrated her boyfriend's success at Arrowhead but turned tail back to New York on Monday before he returns to practice. With this year's AFC Championship game being held in Kansas City, there's a good chance Swift will be at this weekend's game as well. However, she chose not to stick around and be a possible distraction for Kelce as she flew back to New York for the week, according to the before presumably flying back to Kansas City on Sunday for the AFC Championship game, which kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Swift voluntarily keeping her distance during before the Chiefs' most important game of the season is an example of the kind of support Kelce boasted about during a recent appearance on the Pat McAfee Show. That's the beauty of being in a very strong relationship, is that you get that support to be able to come in and focus on your craft, focus on being the best version of you. Kelce said. I think I'm as focused as I've ever been on my job and being the best player that I could possibly be week in, week out for this team. It's because I don't have to worry about things off the field. Travis Kelce has clarified that the Kansas City Chiefs are not fixated on the prospect of clinching a third consecutive Super Bowl title as they enter the playoffs. This comes despite Patrick Mahomes having brought up the subject multiple times. The Chiefs kicked off their postseason with a matchup against the Houston Texans at Arrowhead Stadium, following a bye during Wild Card Weekend. As heavy favorites, Kansas City's focus, according to Kelce, was squarely on the task at hand, defeating the Texans and moving forward to take on either the Baltimore Ravens or Buffalo Bills. Speaking to ESPN before the game, Kelce emphasized, "I haven't heard anyone talk about anything three-peat, anything like that. We're focused on the Houston Texans right now. Anybody can get beat in the playoffs if you don't come in with the right mentality, the right mindset." Despite Kelce's insistence on the team's present focus, it's evident that the Chiefs have been vocal about their ambition to make history by winning a third straight Super Bowl. Back in February, Mahomes spoke about the possibility of creating history with the above-mentioned outlet, saying, "It would be legendary. No one's ever done it, and we knew it's legendary to win back-to-back. I think 8 other teams have done it. We had heard it all week. We had talked to the guys, who had gone back-to-back, about it, and we felt like we had the best opportunity that we had ever had to go out there and do that." During his Super Bowl celebration last season, he was overheard exclaiming, "Hey, we're not done. I want 3. I want back-to-back-to-back. No one has ever got there. I want it." On social media this week, Mahomes signaled his ambition by updating his profile picture to one featuring him holding the Lombardi Trophy, alluding to his aim for another victory. Should the Chiefs secure a three-peat, tight end Travis Kelce's future is up in the air, with reports suggesting he might retire. Last season wasn't kind to Kelce. He racked up the lowest stats of his career, finding the end zone just 3 times while trying to step up after Rashee Rice's long-term injury left a void. With a year remaining on his contract, Kelce is faced with a tough decision that could see him leaving millions behind if he chooses to hang up his cleats. When the lights are shining the brightest, Travis Kelce always seems to know what to do. The Kansas City Chiefs tight end has made some of his best plays in the biggest moments during the team's back-to-back Super Bowl runs, and is at it again as they quest for a three-peat. But Kelce's ability to get open in the biggest moments in a game isn't just a feat of athleticism nor dumb luck. It's the result of meticulous focus and practice. As former NFL pro Kyle Long explained on Kevin Clark's This Is Football, Kelce has a unique practice routine that helps him for just such moments. Long said that when the Chiefs' offense isn't on the field, Kelce moves over to the field where the kickers work, and puts in some time on his routes all his own, in a process that is meticulous. He would walk through. Sometimes I'd see him over